I never thought I was going to lose this much money, this fast.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
How do you feel about your vote for Donald Trump now?
Well, I feel like perhaps I should have considered some other options.
The past 2 years, Jim has been selling honey to the federal government, which then provides it to schools and food banks. But after Donald Trump took office, the USDA cut those programs suddenly as part of the federal government's effort to streamline spending.
For a lot of other local farmers around here, it was a major source of reliable revenue. For me, it's going to cost me around $150,000 a year.
$150,000?
Yeah, roughly 50% of my revenue.
That's a huge hit.
That's a massive hit.
Voted for President Trump.
Yes, sir.
Why did you vote for him?
Because I was an idiot. 80% of the evangelical Christian people were lied to, if you really want to know the truth, and that's exactly what happened. They said criminal, and I believe criminals need to be off the street.
I just want to make sure people watching this understand who you are.
My wife and I, when we don't work, we're ministers. We help the needy. That's what we do.
This is my 39th crop. I started in 1986, the year I graduated high school. I could plant an acre of beans in 1986 for 30 bucks. It irritates me that you don't have the guts to acknowledge that the people do not pay the tariffs. I don't care if it's John Deere, Case, Caterpillar, all that stuff is outsourced overseas. And the guy that pays it is the guy that purchased it. I can buy a bearing for a combine, and it's made in Taiwan, or who knows where. Parts have over doubled in the last year, if you can get them. The dealer at Marshall has a backlog for almost 4 months because they can't get parts because of Trump's stupid tariffs. I think agriculture has taken a heck of a hit on a lot of misinformation, and he is not helping the farmer. I mean, we farm about 3,500 acres. We are going to be so far in the red. When are you going to stand up for us instead of kissing his ass for these trade deals? And the tariffs. More so the tariffs than the trade.
Higher wages? For who? For you? Cost of living is higher than it's ever been. Oh.
Start telling the truth.
Stop lying.
Stop lying! Stop lying! Stop lying! Stop lying! Stop lying!
I'm scared that I'll never own a house because this is ridiculous. All the prices are crazy. Like, no one's hiring. The job market is terrible. I'm scared that I'm going to live with my parents forever, honestly. And the gas prices, it's so rare to see it above $4. And now that it is, it's just kind of, I feel like I'm being shot financially. It's just crappy. It sucks.
Do you think President Trump is too old to be president?
I think so. Although, age is something that some people 80 are still very confident of things, and others are losing it. But I think he's losing it. I think he's too old. I think we need younger people.
Farmers and workers in Iowa who once believed Trump's America First message are now watching their livelihoods collapse under the exact same policies that were supposed to protect them. Since siding with Obama twice, Iowa has become a stronghold for Donald Trump, yet perhaps no state has struggled more with his economic policies. During the first quarter of 2025, Iowa's GDP dropped by 6.1%. That's more than any other state aside from neighboring Nebraska. Manufacturing, which drives 17% of Iowa's economic output, has been hit with higher production costs in part because of steep tariffs on imports like aluminum and steel. Meat packing plants, which help make Iowa the nation's leading pork producer, rely heavily on foreign-born workers, hundreds of thousands of whom saw their legal status stripped away by the president. Trump's war on renewable energy also threatens the wind industry that produces more than half of Iowa's electricity. Kirk Leeds, who is the chief executive of the Iowa Soybean Association, said, "This is as challenging as I've seen it. We've got uncertainties beyond compare." Additionally, Trump's massive bailout of Argentina has upset many Iowans. Since China China moved immediately after it was announced to lock up Argentine soybean exports to fill the gap from Beijing's boycott of American soy. One of the farmers named Larry asked, "Who are you subsidizing, our competitors or us?" This is what happens when political slogans replace actual economic policy. America First was supposed to protect farmers and manufacturers, but the numbers don't lie. Iowa's economy is tanking.
So BuzzFeed dropped an article in which they asked 18 former Donald supporters about how their views have changed over the past year. And I'm going to read you a select few of the people who have entered the find out phase of their vote. This 49-year-old from the state of West Virginia writes the following: I voted for him all 3 times. This time, I felt like I didn't have a choice because the Democratic candidate was so bad. I have never felt more betrayed by my vote. My partner is losing her federal job, we'll probably lose our house, and frozen water is running rampant above the law with no regard for anyone. This user, number 5 on the list of 18, writes the following: I voted for him because I was a diehard Republican. He and all of his yes men have changed my mind. He is a vile, brutal narcissist that needs to be impeached. His inhumane treatment of immigrants without due process is unconstitutional. Sending in agents and military into the United States cities is unconstitutional, and everything he has done against Venezuela is unconstitutional. He is the most vile, idiotic, narcissistic person that has ever held office in the United States. He should be impeached, and the idiots that he has platformed, such as RFK, also need to be removed from office so that we can get our country back. This 39-year-old male from Ohio writes the following: I voted for him in 2024 only, and I feel so ashamed and conned. I did it only because of his campaign promises to make the American dream affordable again, and because of my fear of another world war. I thought he would make the country safer by being tough on crime, and also by deporting the worst of the worst criminals. Yet I've only seen hardworking immigrants and American citizens hurt by his militia. I thought he was the guy that would shake things up and help out the working class. He's only used taxpayer money to enrich himself and his friends, and to start new conflicts around the globe with our allies. I'm sorry, everyone. And those are just a select few that I read, but if you want to see a part 2, drop me a comment and let me know.
Why are Ohio farmers crying, regretting the way they voted? Why are they saying they are literally regretting the way they voted? So here's the question. Americans are looking at them and they're wondering, why now? I mean, you're the first people who voted for this current administration. So why are you crying right now? So stay tuned. Let's hear what they're talking about. And please subscribe to my channel. And let's talk at the end.
I actually have panic attacks. I had a couple this past week. And I get very emotional over it.
You voted for this.
I don't want to work anymore, but I can't afford to retire.
Obviously, President Trump is immensely wealthy. He's been wealthy since he was born.
Yep.
Do you think he understands?
No.
You voted for this.
He hasn't lived it to understand it. He sees it. He has not lived it. He needs to live it. Wear the clothes. Wear the shoes. Wear your Walmart clothes. Wear your Walmart shoes. Do your thrift store shopping. Don't eat steaks. I don't get to go out to dinner. It's not an overnight.
Unfortunately, all I can do is laugh at these people because you knew all of this information about Donald Trump before you voted for him. You knew he grew up rich. You knew he did not know what the average person is going through. You knew he cared about rich people. You knew he has bankrupt business after business. But to y'all, he's a businessman. He's someone that cares for the people. He was going to bring gas prices down and grocery prices down day one. Y'all fell for the okie doke. And now you're having panic attacks. And every time you go to the grocery store, you buy the same things and it's more expensive every time. You should have known this was coming. We had the first Trump presidency, and this one is even worse. Like, he has gone full on tyrant mode, but this is what you voted for, and you want people to feel bad for you. But no, you wanted the worst for others, and now you're mad that it's the worst for you. I hope you have the day you deserve.
I really don't understand tariffs. Honestly, I just know they f***ed us up.
All we heard was drill, drill, drill during the election, and now all we're getting is drilled into the dirt with these prices.
If you could talk to President Trump directly right now, what would you tell him?
Should you want me to really say it on air? I say, you.
And I don't mean to be disrespectful to any leader, but he's disrespectful to us, and he doesn't care.
What you just heard right there, those are all former Trump voters from right here in Ohio. And right now, they're souring on President Trump.
The average American is struggling to make ends meet right now. And nobody wants to hear the war's almost over. Nobody wants to hear it's going to get better. You've had a year to make it better at this point. Make it better. Make America great again, right?
White working class voters propelled Trump to victory across the Midwest.
A vote for Trump is a vote to keep those manufacturing jobs in America and add a lot of jobs.
But for rank and file union members like Annette Dombrowski, whose factory is shutting down because manufacturing is moving to China, President Trump's campaign promises are ringing hollow.
He promised to impose tariffs that would bring back American manufacturing. How do you feel about those tariffs and how they've impacted?
Well, obviously it didn't work now, did it?
You've had a couple months to try and get a new job. What has that process been like?
Depressing. Since January, I have been applying, and it got so bad that I almost had a breakdown in March. I actually have panic attacks.
And Chris Tackett, a truck driver who voted for President Trump 3 times, says he's no longer a fan of the president.
He's backtracked on every single pitch point he had during his election. He's backtracking on. I think it was all smoke and mirrors during the second election. I think Trump is more concerned with getting even with his opponents this time around than he was looking out for the average Joe that supported him. And yeah, I'm just disappointed.
In January, several Ohio factories announced plans to close, including this Conn-Selmer instrument plant in Eastlake, the one you can see there on your screen. The plant's billionaire owner, John Paulson, a close ally of Trump, I would note, offshored all of those jobs to China. Annette Dombrowski is a 3-time Trump voter and a janitor at that Eastlake, Ohio plant. At the end of the month, on June 30th, she's going to be officially out of a job. MS Now reporter Alex Tebbett went to her house this week and asked her how she felt when she was laid off and whether she thinks Trump understands what she is going through.
I actually have panic attacks. I've had a couple this past week. And I get very emotional over it. I don't want to work anymore, but I can't afford to retire.
Obviously, President Trump is immensely wealthy, has been wealthy since he was born.
Yeah.
Do you think he understands?
No. He hasn't lived it to understand it. He sees it, he has not lived it. He needs to live it. Wear the clothes, wear the shoes, wear your Walmart clothes, wear your Walmart shoes. Do your thrift store shopping. Don't eat steaks. I don't get to go out to dinner. It's not an overnight thing, but it's been 2 years now. You said you'd bring down the grocery prices. Literally, I must be the most angry person when I grocery shop because I buy the same things every week and I see it jump every week. It is not every couple months. It's literally every week.
Our reporter Alex Tebbett also spoke with another 3-time Trump voter, a man named Chris Tackett, a trucker from Ohio, who expressed deep frustration with Trump's broken promises.
When President Trump said he wasn't going to start foreign wars, when he said he was going to bring down prices, did you believe him?
Yeah. I mean, his first term, I think he held true to everything that he said he was going to do. I think he fought for everything he said he was going to fight for. This time around, I haven't seen it. He's backtracked on every single pitch point he had during his election. He's backtracking on. All we heard was drill, drill, drill during the election, and now all we're getting is drilled into the dirt with these prices. So I'm not a fan of him. I voted for Trump all 3 terms. To be honest with you, I'm not a big supporter of him at this point.
3-time Trump voter. I'm not a big supporter of him at this point, is what he had to say. Now, that Ohio voter also had another message for Trump.
If you could talk directly to President Trump, what would you tell him right now?
Get it together, man. The average American is struggling to make ends meet right now. And nobody wants to hear the war's almost over. Nobody wants to hear it's going to get better. You've had a year to make it better at this point. Make it better. Make America great again, right?
more than a year to be exact. And there was also a one-time Trump voter who had a more explicit message for Trump, which I think kind of encapsulates the buyer's remorse we've been seeing lately on a number of issues.
If you could talk to President Trump directly right now, what would you tell him?
Should you want me to really say it on air? I say you. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to any leader, but he's disrespectful to us, and he doesn't care. So
he's disrespectful to us, and he doesn't care. That again, a guy who voted for Trump. Trump's disrespect for his own supporters is essentially destroying the coalition that put him in the White House to begin with. And it's not just voters he's pushing away, it's also Republican politicians who have loyally supported his agenda, sometimes embarrassingly loyal.
I never thought I was going to lose this much money, this fast.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
How do you feel about your vote for Donald Trump now?
Well, I feel like perhaps I should have considered some other options.
The past 2 years, Jim has been selling honey to the federal government, which then provides it to schools and food banks. But after Donald Trump took office, the USDA cut those programs suddenly as part of the federal government's effort to streamline spending.
For a lot of other local farmers around here, it was a major source of reliable revenue. For me, it's going to cost me around $150,000 a year.
$150,000?
Yeah, roughly 50% of my revenue.
That's a huge hit.
That's a massive hit.
This is not something that farmers can work around. No one anticipated that we would have a shock to the system. All the experts did not see this coming when we received this rise in fertilizer prices because of this war.
Nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody thought that electing Donald Trump to go on a revenge path and do whatever he wants completely unchecked would lead to this. Nobody said anything. Kamala Harris didn't say anything. The people on social media, the liberals, the Democrats, the sensible independents, anybody with more than 2 brain cells didn't see this coming. We all saw this coming. We knew there was going to be a war. We knew there was going to be a conflict. We knew that his idea for tariffs was terrible. We knew that mass deportations was terrible. We knew that everything he was bringing to the table, all of his, well, I haven't thought about that, half-baked plans were terrible. So don't sit here now and say nobody saw this coming, shock to the system out of nowhere. No, he started this war with Iran single-handedly, and we knew he would do something exactly like it. So these farmers want to continue to tell us, we didn't know, we're in pain, all these big farmers are getting the subsidies and the bailouts, we're suffering, we're going to close our family farm. You fucked around and now you're finding out. I don't know what else to say.
There are white people going viral right now for their regret over voting for Donald Trump. And I put that word into heavy quotation marks because I genuinely question if they even know what the word regret means. One woman in particular got on TikTok crying a whole theatrical production about how people are not greeting her with open arms, how they're being mean to her in her comment section. Lady, are you fucking for real? Somehow you are the victim, not the millions of people harmed by the very system that you voted to prop up not once, not twice, but 3 fucking times. Not the immigrants who lost their family members to deportation or concentration camps. Not the communities of color who have been terrorized by the very policies that you voted to enable. You're the victim because people were mean to you in your comment section. And this tells me everything I need to know about your regret. You're not sorry, you're uncomfortable, and you're confusing the two. You claim that you're doing the work, yet at the first sign that that work becomes difficult, you make videos crying to garner sympathy for yourself. So the emotional labor falls on everyone else again. And then to make it worse, there's a whole slew of people in her comment sections coddling her. Oh, you're such a good girl because you realize that you made a mistake by voting for him 3 times. It's so brave of you to speak up. Then some of you have the fucking audacity to police how other people respond to this video. Specifically, the people that MAGA spent years targeting. People of color, the LGBTQ community, immigrants. You want them to welcome ex-MAGA with open arms. You want them to perform forgiveness for your comfort. The people that we should all have sympathy for are the ones who have been harmed, not the ones who do the harming and are now sad because everyone remembers. But here's the part that really gets me. Same crying video. She said she won't be voting in future elections. So instead of working to dismantle the oppressive system that you helped build, your solution is to throw your hands up and do nothing but cry online. That is not remorse. That is not doing the work. That's pandering for likes and comments to appease your praise kink. That's demanding forgiveness without actually earning it. Look, if people want to coddle ex-MAGA voters, that's your prerogative. Nobody can stop you from handing out participation trophies. But if you are an alleged regretful MAGA, do not expect anyone to forgive you. Do not expect a warm welcome. Do not expect marginalized communities to throw you a fucking parade. Do the fucking difficult work. Sit with your discomfort. Sit with the fact that people are rightfully angry at you. And sit with the fact that your regret doesn't undo any of the damage that you caused. The only way you will maybe, and that's a big if, be welcomed back into a society that is rightfully skeptical of you is if you spend the rest of your life proving that you are worth redemption. That means voting for progressive candidates who actually want to help people. That means showing up to protests. That means putting your fucking body on the line. That means doing the hard work even when nobody is clapping for you. Otherwise, save your fucking tears and go cry about it in your journal.
Here's the thing. If you're a 3 times Trumper and you're one of the people who voted us into the mess that we're currently a part of, and you're now just starting to regret that decision, I don't think you get to come out and post that on the internet and try and recenter yourself in the conversation. It's your opportunity to sit the fuck back and listen to the people who have been anti-Trump since a fucking decade ago. But instead you come online and now you're trying to garner sympathy from people because you've been a moron. Sit back, amplify the voices of people who have been on that game since day one, and shut the fuck up.
I don't regret my vote for Donald Trump. I don't regret it at all because I understand what the alternative might have been. I understand that the alternative would have been an acceleration of what was going on under the Biden years, to the point where we're in the same position as Ireland and England, only on steroids. But am I disappointed? Yeah. I'm really disappointed. We haven't seen any arrests. Nobody's held accountable. Billions upon billions, if not trillions of dollars in fraud, completely ignored. Nobody held accountable for any of that. The biggest obstacle to prosperity at every single turn in the United States of America is the United States federal government. And we've got a president right now who 77 million of us friggin' voted for while being called every single demonic name in the book, and just took it on the chin and still dropped our vote in the ballot box for him. And we are being completely left out in the cold. Yeah, we had the big, beautiful bill. So what? Big whoop. The cost of living is still out of control. And the focus of this federal government right now is over in the Middle East once again. What's it going to take for us to freaking get through to the people in our federal government, and yes, Donald J. Trump, that we don't want to be involved in the Middle East anymore? We want domestic policy to be the focus of your effort. Taxation and cost of living. Taxation and cost of living. Taxation and cost of living. That is where we need your focus to be. Not Iran, not Israel. To hell with Israel. To hell with Iran. To hell with Palestine. Let them sort themselves out. They have military-aged males in each one of those countries that can fight their own battles. It's not our responsibility. Lower taxes, lower cost of living, and turn your focus completely inward to domestic policy, or you are going to lose in the midterms, and we are not going to have a Republican president in 2028, and we won't deserve to. Pull your head out of your ass and represent the people that put you there.
You got played. Y'all got played. Alternative to what? No new wars, lower inflation, 14 to 16 million jobs being created. Unemployment went from 6%, 3%. Inflation went from 9% to 3%. And I can get into explaining why, you know, inflation peaked at 9%, but you don't want to hear that. You don't care. You could easily look it up on Google, ChatGPT, or any of these AI applications and figure out why. But you don't care. You know, Kamala Harris, she's willing to give tax credit to households. She was back in the unions, yada, 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 yada. But you don't care. There's nowhere in any of her speeches or any of her stump speeches or any of her interviews where she said she was going to get the U.S. into another war. Period. Not one bit. She gave you specifics on how she was going to deal with things, and you flat out ignored it. But I get it. I get it. I get it. You know, Democrats are kind of like the boring husband and wife, whereas the Republicans are kind of like the player and the stripper. You know what I mean? You got the husband who goes to work every day, comes home, eats dinner, fixes stuff around the house, makes sure the lights are on, that kind of thing. Wife, you know, she probably has a job. She takes care of the kids, makes sure you get them dressed for school, lunches, works, make sure she has dinner on the table for her husband when he gets home from work. That kind of thing. Boring. But on the other hand, the Republican side, you got the player. Knows exactly what to say, tells you everything you want to hear, looks good, appears to have money, takes you out on these expensive dates to all these expensive restaurants, takes you on an expensive trip, you know, kind of like the Tinder swindler. That kind of thing. Right? Makes you feel good. Makes you want to be with him. Makes you want to, you know, be a part of his life. That kind of thing. You know, but in reality, behind the scenes, he done got your personal information, right? Taking credit cards out in your name. Taking a mortgage out. Behind the scenes. Right? Telling you he's got all these business deals going on. Right? But behind the scenes, he's seeing other women, taking money from you, so he take you out, stealing your money, so he take you out, take you all these different places, right? Doing all that stuff, make you feel good. But in reality, you're fitting the bill. He don't have no money, right? So he do this for a little while, and slowly but surely things start crumbling, right? Cash is getting counted on. So what does he do? He asks you for money. Kind of like giving tax cuts to rich people, cutting all the programs. He's asking you for money. Fit the bill. Right? Oh, I give it back to you. I give it back to you. That's what he says. I'm gonna give it back. I just need to borrow his money. But in reality, he don't have the money to give it back. Money to give back to you. So then over time, you start asking him for money. Hey, where's my money? And then guess what? He pulls the disappearing act on you. He leaves. And then guess what? All these bill collectors start calling you. This credit card is due. This payment is due on your mortgage loan. And then on the other hand, you got the stripper, right? She looks good. She's selling you fantasies, telling you everything you want to hear. Says she gonna be with you, right? You give her money. giving you all this money, giving her all that money, right? Like a charity. Say she gonna be with you. Y'all gonna be together. You taking her all these expensive trips, taking her all these restaurants. And she keep telling you, oh yeah, we're gonna be together. We're gonna be together forever. You buying her all these clothes and gifts and all this stuff, right? You taking out credit cards. You taking out second mortgage on your house to fit this lifestyle that she wants, right? You giving her money to help her invest in some business venture that she showed you on, kind of like Trump University, right? But then at some point, you say, look, I can't keep giving you this money. We can't continue with this lifestyle. And she said, oh, it's okay. It's okay. You don't got to do that. You know, we're going to be together. So you ain't got to worry about that. So a little time goes by. And then guess what? She tell you, oh, we can't be together no more because you can't fit the lifestyle that I want. And then she gone. Right? She done sold you all the fantasies. And you left footing the bill.
All right, so the Ohio farmers are experiencing significant buyer's remorse because Trump's aggressive tariff policies and geopolitical conflict have severely damaged their profit, destroyed their export market, and caused their daily operation costs to skyrocket. Many rural working class voters backed Trump, expecting an economic boom. Instead, his second-term policies have created a severe financial squeeze that threatens the survival of family farms. The concept of buyer remorse means regretting a major decision after seeing its negative consequences. Ohio farmers are experiencing this for several reasons. One, the farmers are trapped in a brutal cycle where everything they need to buy is getting more expensive, but the prices they get for selling their crops are stagnant or dropping. So, as a result, due to broad 25% tariff on imported steel, aluminum, and foreign goods, especially essential farming equipment and repair parts, have become incredibly expensive. Also, geopolitical turmoil, including administration conflicts tied to the war in Iran, has caused diesel fuel prices to double since tractors and transport trucks rely heavily on diesel. This adds hundreds of dollars in an unexpected daily operating cost. In addition, new tariffs on international neighbors like Canada have threatened the supply of potash, a critical material used to make fertilizer. This leaves farmers either facing severe shortages or paying massive premium just to plant their crops. There is a collapse of export market. As a result, Ohio is a major agriculture hub, particularly reliant on selling soybeans and corn to foreign nations. So Trump American fast tariff strategies trigger immediate retaliation from global trading partners. The loss of China was previously Ohio's third largest trading partner and a massive buyer of American soybeans. Following retaliatory trade measures, U.S. soybean export to China collapsed by roughly 54% to 85% compared to prior years. For multiple months, soybeans export to China dropped to zero. Without foreign buyers, a massive surplus of grain is trapped in the domestic market, driving crop prices down to or below the actual cost of production. As a result of that, farmers are experiencing losses left, right, and center, and some have literally lost their farm because they're not able to pay their mortgages because they have no buyers to buy their produce. Also, the government bailout is not enough. To offset the economic devastation caused by his trade policies, the administration implemented a taxpayer-funded relief program such as the USDA Farmer Bridge Assistance Payment. However, this federal aid has failed to solve the problem. They literally compare it to pennies to dollars. The report on regional outlet like Cleveland.com highlight that the tariff cost Ohio farmers tens of millions of dollars in losses, while the one-time federal disbursement only cover a small fraction of that deficit. Also, there's that corporate favorism. Small family-run farms note that the structure of these relief packages is not fair. It favors only the massive corporate agriculture conglomerates rather than independent family operations. In addition, most farmers explicitly state they do not want to rely on government assistance to stay solvent. They want open, stable, competitive markets where they can earn a living through fair trade. More so, ultimately, the root of the buyer remorse comes down to unfulfilled campaign pledges. Farmers voted for Trump because they were promised that tariff would tax foreign nations and protect American jobs. Instead, independent studies showed that tariffs acted as a massive tax hike passed directly down to American producers and consumers. As farm net income reduces, inflation remains high, and financial institutions grow hesitant to lend money due to economic volatility. Many Ohio farmers feel that the administration has prioritized political theater over the survival of the working rural class. Do you agree? Do you feel any sympathy for these Ohio farmers? I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye bye.